Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. Welcome, one and all. If you are returning, thank you so much. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you would like to support the channel further, everything you need is in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member on the channel. Awesome. With that being said, today we are doing What Do People Secretly Think of You But Won't Say? I wasn't gonna do this, but when I was getting ready today, Source is like, no, there's a message that needs to come out today for someone. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know I do readings a lot different than most people do on here. So hang with me and let's find out what comes through. We are going to be using messages from your animal spirit guides by Stephen D. Farmer. Absolutely love this deck. I was shuffling and the falcon came out on the bottom. So definitely a synchronicity here. And I love the message on this is act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without equivocation. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I'm probably saying it wrong. Oh, just one second. Okay, sorry, the sage I'm burning right now, it's still burning over here, and I'm getting down to the last part of it. It kind of fell off, and all this ash got on the table, so I was just making sure it wasn't going to burn the table. But yeah, I feel like that's the other thing too. Like, there's definitely a worry. I wasn't going to start off with a channel message, but it's already coming in, just like with everything that's going on. It's like feeling like you're going to get burned if you pour into this opportunity that's before you, or continuing to pour into whatever it is that you're trying to create. There's this feeling that you're going to continue to get burned, or that, like, what's the purpose or what's the point when it feels like nothing's coming to fruition? And I feel like Source is saying, like, it's hard sometimes to trust the process because you're still being molded into the person that's going to be able to shoulder whatever it is that you're choosing to create in this life. And that doesn't come overnight. It comes with time, with consistency, and with patience. And patience being the key here, right? And it's like, to commit to this, right? Without worry, without fear, without stepping back and saying, like, why am I doing this? Just committing to it, knowing that this is the direction that you feel called to go, and this is the direction that you feel like your life is meant to go towards. That's truly standing in your power and knowing that it's not about the outcome, it's about the journey. And so I feel like that is definitely one of the messages coming in here. When I do the shuffle, we'll go ahead and get into the collective energy as well while we're on it. But let's open with the prayer like always and get this reading started, as it hasn't been already, right? This is definitely a channel message right off the bat. All right. And what does that have to do with what people are secretly thinking of you? And I feel like that's something that you've been shouldering as well, as like how people view you, or what people might say about how your viewpoints differ from others, right? My beloved Source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. I ask that you wrap them in your support, in your loving arms, and remind them that they are so supported along this journey, and that even when things don't seemingly make sense to us, it doesn't mean that it's not having a purpose on our journey overall. That you are seeing the big picture, even if we can't. Because sometimes we're very narrow-minded, and sometimes we're very focused on the very small, minute details. And so seeing the bigger picture is almost impossible. It's very difficult for us because we are emotionally involved in whatever tasks are before us, and we are emotionally involved in the outcome because we want to succeed and we want to say that, hey, I did this. Look, I was finally able to create whatever it was that I was doing. And sometimes it weighs on us what other people are saying about us, because there's this energy that I feel right now where so many people want to be able to say, look, I created this when you told me I couldn't. I was able to succeed when you told me I couldn't. And yes, we know that it's not about that there's so much more to it. But if you could bring comfort at this time and ease that feeling for us and remind us that it's what we think of ourselves, not what others think of us. It's how we view what we're doing. And if we find pleasure in it, and if we find purpose in it, then it's meant for us. It's not whether others find pleasure and purpose in what we're doing, because it's our path. It's not for them to understand it for us or to understand us on our journey anyways. It's for us to truly understand, adapt, and to move forward for ourselves as we continue on. So as these words are spoken onto this reading and among this tribe, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. All right, let me get that set up over here. Get this out of the way. I'm going to give this another quick shuffle because we did have that channel message come through. Yeah, slow and steady. Tortoise coming out on the bottom, and the unicorn. Okay, yeah, so there's definitely an energy here for the collective, just reminding you that those who give up will never succeed, right? But those who continue on, no matter what the cost, no matter what the length of the process is for success, you will eventually succeed. Okay, so source for pile number 1, what animal, spirit, guide, oracle will help us better understand what people secretly think of pile number 1 but won't say? You obviously have a message tonight for this reading, so let's bring that forward. Okay, it's this one here. Thank you, source. All right, source for pile number 2, what oracle card will help us better understand what do people secretly think of pile number 2 but won't say? What's the message you want for pile number 2 to come through, source? What is the message you would like for? Thank you. All right, and for pile number 3, source, what spirit, animal guide, what animal, spirit, guide, oracle card will help us better understand what do people secretly think of pile number 3 but won't say? Thank you. Yeah, there's a really strong message here for someone, and you wouldn't have otherwise clicked on this video if it was named something else, and that's the message that I'm getting right now. So we've got elk or wapiti, and it says, stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect you deserve. So this is all about how you see yourself, right? Like how you see yourself matters. And if you're saying like, oh, people are going to judge me because I'm different, are you judging you because you feel different? Are you not looking at yourself from a place of respect and honor and truth and saying like, this is what I feel called to do? Or are you feeling like you have to make yourself small because others have judged you in the past and you're still dealing with that trigger and you're still dealing with that discomfort and the unease that brings up? And these are all very powerful questions that you can ask yourself on the journey to help you come back to this place of grounded, stable, connected, rooted energy within yourself so that you can truly move forward without letting anything bother you. You know, I can't remember who said this, but I remember one time someone told me, don't take on the garbage of other people. So it's like, if you allow people, they'll dump their dump truck of garbage on you, right? Like all the time. And they'll make it seem like it's your problem how they feel about you, when in reality, that's the projection of how they feel about themselves. But remember, we too have that. No one is free from that because that is a collective energy. That's a societal construct that we're constantly working through on the journey. And we're having to allow space and time and energy to work through those very uncomfortable emotions, which is like, I'm not good enough, or the imposter syndrome, or, you know, feeling like, why do I deserve this and somebody else doesn't? Really, at the end of the day, you were given this task and intuitively you feel called to it. So that means it's coming from a higher source. And if source is giving you this task to do, it means it was meant for you. There's no imposter syndrome here, right? There's no, you don't deserve to do this. There's no, oh my gosh, like someone else deserves it more than you. Because if that person was given the same task, it would still be different. Right? And there's that old saying that says there is nothing new, there is only different. And so trusting in that, it's like maybe what I'm doing isn't new, but how I'm choosing to create it is different. And that's where the power comes from. That's where the stability comes from, is honoring that you're going to bring your unique perspective and your unique differences to it. And that's what matters, and not worrying about all that pressure that everyone else is putting on you. You know, as much as I wish I could say everyone had good intentions for everyone else in the world, it's just not the truth, right? We live in this very dualistic nature world. It's very contrast. You've probably heard me talk about it many times on this channel, where as much light there is dark, and as much dark there is light, because this world would lose its balance without that. That's just the nature of the realm that we live in. And so honoring that and saying, like, I'm going to meet people who don't have the best of intentions for me, but it doesn't mean that there aren't people who exist that have good intentions for you. And it's not even about you going out and finding those people. It's truly about you honoring the truth of yourself and knowing that you deserve to respect yourself. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve to love yourself. But you also deserve to see what it is that you create with your hands, with your mind, with your heart, with your soul, as something of value. Because if you don't see that as value, no one else will. And you cannot ask another person to validate you, because that's not their job. It's your job to validate yourself and your existence and your creations. Wow, that was such a channeled message coming through, so strong. Okay, so let me get this set up here. And if you're wondering why I'm using the fire signs on the dice tonight, it is because I'm just trying to do something new with the dice. And it's not because it's for the fire signs. I mean, if you're drawn to one because that's your sign, cool, that's awesome, then that's for you. It's just something else to choose from, because I've gone through everything else. All right, and I feel like the next one will be the earth sign that we see. Okay, so for pile number 1, we do have this cute little flamingo for you to choose from. It's a little pencil topper my nephew got me. All right. We also have the Aries on this dice. Okay. And for pile number 2, we have this little heart piece. Okay. We have Leo on this dice. All right. And for pile number 3, we have this amethyst for you to choose from. You guys might hear sounds. There's a lot of dogs and people around right now. It's spring break and there's tons of people around. And then we also have this Sagittarius on this dice. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that being said, I will see you over on your chosen pile. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful or cute, adorable, whatever you want to call it, little flamingo, if you were drawn to this dice with the Aries symbol on it, and again, this has nothing to do with the zodiac signs, just something to choose from. Or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on what do people secretly think of you but won't say. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human existence together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop to it. I do quickly want to say, this reading is going to be different. Source has a message that they want to bring through for you. And so that's why we're doing this reading. I wasn't going to do this reading, but when I got started, it's all in the intro. You can definitely check it out. But Source brought this up and said there's definitely a message that needs to come out. And so if you have not, definitely check out the collective reading or the collective energy from the intro, okay? So Source, for pile number 1, what do people secretly think of pile 1 but won't say? What would you like to tell them today? What do people secretly think of pile number 1 but won't say, Source? What would you like to come through today? Okay, so we've got Leo, the 3rd house, and South Node energy. Yeah. Okay, let me tap into this for just a second. Because it feels like people are saying you need to let something go. Like you've outgrown this. You've done so much in regards to trying to make it last. And they're saying that it's like just not for you anymore. And it's interesting. Hopefully I can get this to focus there a little better. Let me turn on this light and see if that's a little better. Can you see that? Okay, it's a little better. It's nighttime, and so I usually don't record at night. I like the natural daylight. So it feels like what people are saying, especially with this combination of dice, it feels like they're saying like you have communicated what your dreams are and you've said this is what I want to achieve, and they're saying like, well, that's nice and fancy and everything, but when is it actually going to become an actual achievement? Like you're making such a big deal out of it, and yet nothing has happened, and it's something that you should let go of. It's something that you should leave behind. And I feel like for you, pile 1, whatever your dream is or whatever it is that you want to manifest is massive. Like it just feels like there's no like single one part to it, that there's obviously a lot of different steps and there's a lot of different things that go into play here for you to manifest this large thing or this large success or this large creation. And it's for them, they're not seeing it that way. They're only seeing the end result and saying, well, it should just be a 1-2 process. And there's no 1-2 process about it. And so what people are secretly thinking of you, and of course, I feel like the people saying this, they don't want to say that to your face, but and maybe some have. I do feel like there's somebody here who has said it. Like, you've obviously not going to have success with this. You've tried it. You've done enough. Like, it's gone too far and there's no going back. Like, you're not ever going to experience success with this because you aren't seeing any now. So what's the point? This person's very dramatic. Whoever they are, they're very dramatic, I feel, and they like to be the center of attention. And I don't think that they like this energy of you actually getting attention from others or being the central focus right now. Like, you're absolutely in your main character season right now, pile 1. It feels like you're getting recognition, you're getting accolades for what it is that you're doing. Like, people are recognizing you for the things that you're saying, the things that you're doing, the ideas that you're presenting. And this person or these people who, it feels like one person. It's interesting that I keep saying that, but it does. It feels like one person. This one person is really angry that you're the center of attention and they're not. Like, they're not getting the recognition that you're getting, and they're desperately seeking it. Like, they're doing everything that they can. This is even someone who bad attention is still good attention in their minds, and they're not seeing the way that they're putting, like, they're costing their character here, right? Like, this is someone who's costing their character. So what people are saying right now, though, is that you definitely have not come into a place where you're reaching success, and that you want to be this leader, but you know, you want all this popularity and fame, or you want all this happiness, and you're being very vain, or you're being very dominating and selfish because you're costing other people something, right? And maybe there are people who are helping you. Maybe there are people who are playing a part in your life right now to get you to where you're going. You know, like maybe you have family that's trying to support you so that you can realize this dream. And there's someone here who sees that as you taking advantage instead of using the support available to you. Not everybody's had that support, and so not everybody's going to understand that, right? So, but this does feel like someone saying, like, you have already reached the top, or the most amount of knowledge you're going to gain from this, and it obviously hasn't gone anywhere, so why are you still doing it? This is such a weird energy. Let's get into it with the tarot. Let's see what comes out. Yeah, this is not good. Alright, guys. I'm going to use my original tarot today because we're just going to get really dark into it, honestly. I say dark because I want to know what it is that they're saying behind closed doors. But if you saw the intro, there's definitely something that I feel like Source wants to say here. And it could be for you, pile one. It might be for all three piles. We'll definitely see as we go along. But I want to see what people are really thinking here. Alright, Source, what else would you like to say? I feel like this is someone who's very in their shadow. This is someone who's really in their shadow. That's why I was saying dark. Now I understand that. This is someone who has a lot of nasty thoughts behind closed doors. Like, you know, the people who curse people behind closed doors? This is one of those people. Before they go to bed, they're like, darn you, pile number one. Like, how could you do this? How could you go out and outshine me? This person was never shining in the first place because they're wearing a mask, and they're very inauthentic to themselves. Thank you, Source. What do people secretly think of pile one but won't say? Yeah. It's... So, before we even look at what's on the bottom of the deck, let's just talk about the Seven of Coins in the reverse, right? It's talking about a neurotic need for approval. And isn't it interesting? That's what I was feeling in the dice. Is like this person wants to be the center of attention, and they're like projecting that onto you. Oh, pile one just wants all the attention. Pile one just wants to be the center of attention. They're being vain. They're being egotistical. They're being selfish. They don't know what's going on. Like, especially with the Leo energy, that's really coming out. But anytime the Seven of Coins comes out, and especially in the Tarot Marseille, it's talking about someone who needs a neurotic need for being seen, for being heard, for being put on blast, for being in the center of everything and being approved by everyone. This is someone who will change every aspect of themselves just so that every person they meet will like them, which is absolutely insane. Not everyone is going to like us, and that's okay. You know, you don't want to be inauthentic to yourself just so that people will like you, because that's not you attracting your tribe. That's not you attracting your people. The more true you are to yourself, the easier it is for you to attract the people who are meant to be in your life, because the ones that aren't will vibe out. But this person is saying, like, you're the one that's being really inauthentic to yourself. And I feel like this could be a sibling, especially the third house here. This could be a sibling. This could be a childhood friend from school. This could be even family. It could be a cousin. I heard really loudly this might be a cousin. It does feel like this is someone you've known for a huge portion of your life. And pile one, I feel like the reason they're saying this is because you're the one who changed, and you're no longer in this place of letting others take advantage of you and letting others have agendas when it comes to your energy, your time, and your efforts. And this person was benefiting from you being in that energy. And now you're not in that energy anymore, and they're not benefiting from having your energy like that anymore, and it's irritating them. And I feel like this person is grasping at straws, constantly trying to get you to do the things that they want you to do, but they're not achieving that. Yeah. Insincere. Like, this person is secretly thinking that you're insincere, that you're cold, that you're distant, you're not loving anymore. I really get the sense, pile number one, that you're a very, very acute empath, and you feel things very deeply, and you've helped a lot of people. Like, everyone you've come into contact with, you've definitely impacted their lives in a powerful way. And this person, like I was saying, they have an agenda. I didn't even know the Queen of Cups was on the bottom in the reverse, but it's like, that's the thing. They were benefiting from your nurturing and your care. And the minute that you started nurturing and caring for yourself, you recognize that this person was maybe toxic for you, or wasn't someone that you could give to like that because they're a taker, or because they only want things for themselves, but they'll never be in a space where they give or nurture or care for you, or even give you respect, right? And it's like, okay, I'm just going to limit the time that I have with you. I'm going to limit my interactions with you. I'm just going to altogether leave because I have to take care of myself. And so this person is really feeling that deficit in their life, and they're mad because of it. They're really mad. But they do feel like you're being very cold, you're being very distant, like uncaring and unkind, and that you're no longer taking care of them the way that they want to be taken care of. And they're feeling that. They're feeling a lot of that. And I feel like this was a codependent connection between the two of you. And I feel Source is saying here, like, this is the reminder that what you did for yourself is okay, right? This person's very closed off. They're very defensive. But I feel like really you're closing your heart off to them right now because you have to. There's like a need to save yourself. And there's been a lot of criticism in your past, and this person's very harshly criticizing you because they very harshly criticize themselves. Oh, wow. Yeah, we've got the Page of Coins in the reverse. You've nothing to offer them any longer, and you're very superficial. These are the things they're thinking. Wow. I felt it from the get-go. This person is in a very weird place. Like, they don't like the fact that you're doing better than they are, right? You're more grounded. You're more aware of who you are. You're very connected to your journey, your path. You're very connected to what it is that you're doing. And this person thinks it's all some sort of charade or some sort of mask that you're putting on. Like, oh, if people only knew the real them, if people only knew the them that I've always known. And it's like, but the person that they knew, the person you were in the past, that was the false person. Right? And maybe you were in that energy too, changing yourself all the time so that people liked you. You didn't want people to not like you. And it's like finally taking a stand and saying, like, I don't care if people accept me or not. Like, I have to accept myself. I have to do this for myself. And this person was one of the first people that I feel like definitely got caught up in that, in the whirlwind of that, because they were benefiting so much from that people-pleasing energy and the empath that you are and the love that you obviously have to give. And so this is what they're secretly thinking about you. And I know I keep saying it's one person, but it really feels like one energy here. There's one very powerful energy here, and this person expects everybody to bend at their beck and call and to do what they want for them. And maybe they have done so much in their life where they've been able to manipulate others into doing that for them, but you see through that, and that bothers them. They never thought that you would ever see them for what it was that they're doing. And now they're just trying, I feel like this person gossips about you too. I feel like they might not say it to your face, but everything that they're thinking that's coming out in the reading, they definitely tell other people these things. Like, this person is on a rampage to destroy your character, but what they're not recognizing is that they're destroying their own character in the process, and people are quickly losing confidence in their ability to tell the truth. And this is a very intense reading. Let's get some oracles on it. I did say I am traveling. I don't think I said it on this video, but my videos are going to be a little bit shorter until I get fully settled in. So hang with me. I do want to still try to get you out your content, okay? So we've got Pisces energy on the bottom here, intimacy, intuition, and compassion. Yeah, that's a thing. You're a very loving person. This is also a part of your karmic energy where you were letting go of maybe generational curses, or you were letting go that people-pleasing tendencies, things that you had learned somewhere along the way as a coping mechanism or as a protection mechanism. You know, the emotional ego has all kinds of weird things that it responds to when it gets triggered. And I feel like this is you letting that go, clearing out that energy for good, and really listening to your discernment and listening to your emotional well-being here, and choosing to take the higher road for yourself, and choosing to pour that compassion into yourself. And also, you know, Pisces energy connecting with Neptune, connecting with the 12th house. We have this energy of healing. It does talk about healing karma, but it's healing in a very spiritual way. And so this is a very high vibrational healing that's coming in, where you're really making space for something new to come in for you, pile number one. And this person is going to have to sit back and watch success come to you, and there's nothing they can do about it. Yeah, we have house 6, establishing a foundation, health, daily life, and practical details. So they're saying that, like, I feel like they're trying to convince everybody that you're lazy, that you don't do anything, that you're just letting life pass you by. And the people that are benefiting from your knowledge just by you being you, or recognizing how much you spend learning and how much you spend on growing and observing things and learning and healing through that, right? But I do feel like this person is secretly thinking that you are trying to convince yourself, or you're trying to convince others that the little amount of work that you do actually matters, because they have this old outdated belief that you have to work hard to play hard. And we're in the era, right? We're moving into the era in this world that's working smarter, not harder. And you chose to grow with that, or you are choosing to grow with that, and they don't see it that way. So they're trying to convince themselves that, like, you're gonna fail because you're not doing enough. And for you, I feel like coming into a space where you had to recognize that you are enough right now was a huge challenge in and of itself. Maybe because of this person from the past and the way that they treated you, or maybe because so many people treated you the same way. Recognizing that you were enough exactly as you are, and coming into that very receptive energy, right? The feminine, the divine feminine within is that very receptive energy, which is saying, like, I've taken enough action. Now I'm going to receive the blessings. And that's what it feels like. But this person doesn't see it that way, because it maybe their whole life they've worked extra hard and they've never reaped any real benefits from that. Okay, so let's see what else comes through here. Source, what else would you like to tell pile number one? What do they secretly think about pile number one but won't say? Okay. On the bottom, we have, yeah, look, whoa. This confirms what I was feeling, Midas and the Miser. So we have the entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold, delight in sharing life's riches, and the shadow is hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. And the 7 of Coins can talk about a fear of losing your wealth as well, right? What you've worked so hard for. But wasn't that what I was saying? Like, this person is in this energy of thinking that you are in this false belief of thinking that you can get by in life with working so little. And that's the other thing, like succeeding, this is going to be this person's downfall, because it's like you're eventually going to have to show that to the world, right? Like whether that's you leaving a current situation, or finally buying the car of your dreams, or finally getting the home that you've always wanted, like eventually it's going to come out like, oh, pile one actually is really successful. And this person's going to have to open mouth and insert foot clean up to the thigh and maybe beyond. You know, like it's going to be really hard for them, but that's not your problem. That's their problem. They have to deal with that, right? Your focus should ever only be on you, pile one, and your journey and what it is that you want to bring and create in this realm and in this world. And not focusing on what everyone else is thinking of you, not focusing on everyone else out there, because none of that truly matters. Yeah, think on your feet. Oh, we have the fox spirit here with think on your feet. Yeah, you're incredibly wise. This person believed that you were... Okay, I'm just going to say what came through. They felt like you were an idiot. They felt like you were dumb. They still feel like that, but they're beginning to see that, like, holy crap, like, they're figuring me out, or they're seeing things that I thought they never saw before. And the truth is that you've always seen them. You've always noticed them. But this person's been so wrapped up in their own selfish game that they didn't even care to get to know you like that. Like, they just didn't have space. Okay, so we have judgment that flipped out here. You have the benefit of good fortune, and if you use your wise judgment, you can do anything in this place. You can reach new heights, and you should act on your potential when you see the pattern, since what you plant will grow. You're about to experience a spectacular ascent. Wasn't I just saying that? I love this confirmation. Thank you so much, Source. And then we have the process. It's time to put those long cherished ideas into action. You will soon come into contact with the appropriate individuals, circumstances, and resources. Eventually, you will experience joy as well as brand new opportunities. Trust in the process, right? I feel like this is Source just saying, like, you're going to meet the people who are meant to be there with you on your journey. They're going to come through. Like, don't worry about that. Just keep focusing on you. Keep focus on growing. Keep focus on learning and building and creating and crafting whatever it is that you've got going on. It feels like a huge project. Keep doing that, because at the end of the day, you're gonna bring in people who are meant for you. Look at what flipped over. Cooperation, acceptance, listening, teamwork, and win-win. Thank you so much, Source. We have one more. We're going to get one more out of this deck. What else would you like to say? Okay, thank you, Source. Like, I was just talking about that. You're going to bring in the people with process, and that's total confirmation here. Source is saying, like, don't you trip, chocolate chip. I got your back. Look, we've got painting, tell a story, conveying emotion, decorating, shaping. Like, also with the eye here, I always get the sense, like, you're seeing things clearly. You're seeing this person clearly. You're seeing the situation clearly. And it's like, now you can just sit back and observe and take the actions that you need to take for you, right? It's not what everyone else is telling you to do. It's what your heart and your intuition is telling you to do. You have all the answers for you. You have to take the time to sit in meditation and listen. Let's get some of the Pantha Oracle out tonight. I haven't brought this out in a minute. All right, one more, Source. Okay, evidence. You're seeing things clearly, and we've got evidence popping out. It says detection, investigation, and proof. You're seeing the proof of this person. You're seeing where they're coming from. You found the evidence. Now it's just for you to use what you're gaining, that wisdom, and go towards what's right for you, right? I mean, of course, as a reader, I could always give that advice. Like, you could do this, or you need to do this, you need to do this. But because this is a general reading first and foremost, it would be impossible for that advice to resonate with everyone. And secondly, you as a person, it's for me to encourage you to trust that internal guidance system, because everybody has access to it. And remember that if you set the intention, I'm going to find a solution that works for my highest good, and trust that it's going to come, it will. And I feel like you need to hear that, pile one. We've got profession, expertise, omniscience, and talent. Yeah, so you're incredibly talented. You're like going to be a #1 performer in your field, and you're going to be seen for everything that you bring to the table, like your ability to multitask, your ability to have multiple unique, fruitful ideas. Your expertise is needed. Like, people need what you have, and this person is really tripping out about that. And so they're thinking like, oh no one's going to need that because I don't need it. So why would anyone else? So their realm of vision for the world is only as far as the tip of their nose. They don't see anything else beyond that. Like, no one's had as bad as experiences as this person. No one's had as bad as life. No one has had to work as hard as this person, right? And just statistically speaking, we know that's not true. But in a spiritual sense, you know that there's always someone who has it worse off than us. Or there's always someone who has it, a harder time learning something than we do. And we have to be grateful for where we're at, because it could always be a lot different. I feel like the reason this person has had such a hard life is because of that. May we please have an angel number for this reading source? Just one. Thank you. Okay, on the bottom, we've got enthusiasm, 343. Approach life with an optimistic attitude. Oh, wasn't I just saying that? Oh, even in the face of challenges, be excited about the opportunities that lie ahead and to embrace them with open arms. Wow. Thank you, Source. Thank you. Just wow. Next level. Okay, we've got cardinal energy, and this was the pile that had Aries on it, and Aries is a cardinal sign, and cardinal energy is that big bang. It's like the spring, right? It takes a lot of energy for the next season to begin. We have instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. What you're doing is new for your group of people that you grew up around, or for your family. It's like you're going to be a pioneer in your family. You're a way shower. Right? You are a path carver. Like, you're creating something that no one around you that has been in your life will ever understand. Why? Because no one else has done it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's just they don't know the path to getting there. We have gambler here. Light attributes. Willingness to follow intuition, even when others doubt you. Isn't that what I was saying? Thank you, Source. And we have shadow as relying on luck rather than hard work. It wouldn't surprise me if this person was a gambler, if they gambled on things, or they did a lot of that whole believed everybody that what are those Ponzi schemes and stuff like that? Like, oh, this is if I'll get all this money if I do this, or I'll get all this money if I do this. Like, they may have fallen victim to those time and time again. And especially with gambler coming out here, and it didn't work for them. And so with you having this mindset that working smarter, not harder, they think that it falls in the realm of what they've experienced. But it doesn't, because you're finding a new path that's working for you. Yeah, dove spirit, be peace. So at this time, especially with 21, trusting that your angels, your guides, your ancestors, whatever it is that you believe in is with you and taking you to that next step, and you're not alone. And then just being at peace with where you are and what it is that you're doing. Right? Flexible, bend but not break, shift with grace. Yeah, you're creating ripples in the water here. And this has been really hard dealing with people like this, and maybe even specifically dealing with this person. They could be an Aries, a Libra, Capricorn, or a Cancer. They don't have to be. You could have Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus in one of those. I'm also hearing 4th house in Cancer in its home. I'm hearing the 5th house in Leo or Virgo is coming through. I know, very specific messages. It's okay if that doesn't resonate with you. Oh, we've got flirt, seduce, lover, and lust. So maybe you're about to manifest love in your life too. That's a very specific message. That's not going to be for everyone, okay? But you could be about to manifest a real higher vibrational love in your life, and that's all this person wants is love, or that's all this person wants is a connection, and they can't get it. They can't seem to find their person. And part of that comes from this person's just desperately seeking to be in someone's life or find someone to fulfill them only the way they want to be fulfilled, while not putting forth an effort for another person. And so this person's going to be extremely jealous. And so they're secretly thinking that like you're duping people, or you're fooling people, or you're manipulating people. Goal, prepare, expectation, and destination. Yeah, so you're growing. You're moving up here. Illness, disease, weakness, and fragility. Okay, so this person may start to suffer from illnesses, right? The more that we're at dis-ease, the more we're susceptible to disease, and the more that it will begin to manifest. So when our spirit is not in alignment, or we're not in alignment with our higher selves, like we'll open ourselves up to sickness. And you could have actually experienced a lot of sickness as a child too. That's a message coming in, or had specifically cat allergies is coming in. But this could be something that has gone away with time, and the more you come into alignment with your journey. And this person can't figure out why it is that you never get sick, or like why it is that you never feel this way, or whatever it is. They're always getting sick, or they're always dealing with hurt and pain and aches. Wow. Boom. Didn't we open the reading with how you're taking care of yourself now, especially with the Queen of Cups here in the reverse? We have self-care with 7, 8, 9. Practice self-care. Ensure you're getting enough rest and engaging in activities that bring joy into your life. This is a next level reading. Let's take a look at your spirit guide message. We have the octopus. Ooh, practice shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. Didn't we say that at some point in the reading, that this person's like, oh, if only people knew them the way that I know them. And that's what you're doing, like you're shape-shifting, but you're actually uncovering yourself the way that you're always meant to be. And that's something that this person they can't understand, right? And it also has to do with flexibility, intelligence, efficiency, regeneration, camouflage, disguise, secretiveness, solitude. Okay. So it says to become adept at shape-shifting, it's necessary to remain flexible and resilient. We got the flexible card here. I love this. And be willing to practice different identities by altering your way of dressing, your hairstyle, your demeanor, and your mannerisms. Particularly focus on your body language and your voice qualities. Experiment by first making small changes in any of those aspects and watch what happens. You can become skilled in modifying your aura, the energy field around you, by intentionally contracting and expanding it. When you practice these things, sometimes even your friends won't recognize you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Source. You can even get so good at camouflage that you become invisible to others. Everyone has numerous personas through which they operate. You're no different. It's a matter of being conscious of those personas and modifying them through the art of shape-shifting, just like actors do. Study other people and notice their mannerisms, clothing style, and how they walk and carry themselves. Observe animals and their behaviors and try to mimic them. Developing this ability can help you be more readily adapt to the various situations you encounter, thus enabling you to deal with them more effectively. Let yourself be an actor in your everyday life. Have fun with it. Just remember who you are at the core. And it's interesting because there's another card that I have in another deck that talks about shape-shifting, and it's the Clouds card and the Earth Magic, which is another Stephen D. Farmer deck. But it also talks about shape-shifting. It's interesting because this totally gives me Aquarian vibes. So you could be Aquarius or have Aquarius in your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. or I just heard Aquarius North or South Node. Okay, so that's something that, and Aquarians are the trendsetters of the zodiacs. Like, they stand out, right? Like, they like to do things differently, and that's so synchronistic to the reading that we've been talking about. Like, you're doing something different, and whoever this person is, like I said, it feels like one person, and it feels like you're gonna know exactly who this person is. It feels like they just really don't think that you're capable of creating the life that you want for yourself, okay? I was not expecting this reading to go this long, but we're just going to go with it because so much was coming out. All right, this is what I see here for you. If you feel like this is your reading, is there an octopus emoji? If there's not, choose one of the sea creatures emojis and leave that down below. And say, I choose to uncover the truth of myself and let myself be seen in every area of my life, knowing that I am allowed to be me. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this adorable little heart piece, or if you were drawn to this dice with Leo on it, and again, this has nothing to do with the zodiacs themselves, just something to choose from, but if you were drawn to it because you are Leo, that is perfectly okay. Or if you're drawn to this card during this shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on what do people secretly think of you but won't say. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it. And if you did not catch the intro, that's fine. I just want to point out that there was a message that Source wanted to bring through today. So there's going to be a deeper meaning to why we're getting into this reading for you. So bear that in mind as we get through it, and remember that I do readings a lot different than most people, okay? So let's get into it and find out, Source, what do people secretly think of pile number 2 but won't say? What would you like to come through today? What do people secretly think of pile number 2 but won't say? What would you like to say today, Source? South Node, again, we've got the 5th house, Cancer energy, and South Node. South Node energy came out in pile 1, too. Okay, but we've got a little bit different energy coming in today. Maybe you're in a relationship, because this really gives me relationship energy, the 5th house in Cancer. And I feel like people are secretly saying, like, you have, like, the relationship that you have, or maybe it's a person that you desire to have. Right? Like, you're like, oh, this is my person. Like, I want to be with them. I want to have this connection with them. Are you going to focus? Is that as good as it gets? Okay. Sorry, it's dark, and I'm not used to the dark, so we're just going to go with it. But this is like people saying, like, you need to move on from whomever it is. So you could have a relationship, or maybe you're, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I will mention it. Maybe you're a twin flame, and you're talk about your twin flame, or like you mention your twin flame sometimes, and people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick and tired of pile 2 talking about their twin flame. So there's like a group of people here that's secretly thinking like you've completely overkill your person, whoever you think your person is, or whoever you're with currently. Like, it's overkill, constantly talking about them. Constantly, and you might not even be doing that. Like, you might not even be talking about them very much. You might mention it every once in a while, or you have mentioned it in the past. Like, I don't get this feeling that you're over here like, oh my gosh, my person, but that's how they're viewing it, because there's something about this person that they are jealous of, or they're jealous that like you could potentially get together with this person, because maybe this is somebody who everybody has on a pedestal, or they feel like they're out of your league, or they feel like they're too good for you. Like, whoa, you know, like we should be cheering people on who have really solid relationships. Like we really should be, you know? That's what it feels like here. It's like there's this energy where it's like whoever it is that you're interested in, right? With the 5th house, like dating, a relationship, a connection, something along those lines. It's not necessarily like a serious relationship, but it could be. But they're saying like pile 2, like they're not good enough to have this person. So like, why are they even saying that this is their person? Why did they even pursue that? Ugh, oh, these people, they're very, very ugly. This is a very ugly energy. Okay, we're just gonna get with it. Oh, also, before I started, I got strong Scorpio Pisces vibes. So you could be a Pisces or a Scorpio, and your person could be a Pisces or a Scorpio. That could be a part of the sign of the people who are saying this, but I really feel like that has to do with you and your person. And that doesn't have to be Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. It could just be like you have maybe you have a lot of Pluto placements, or you have a lot of 8th house placements, or you have a lot of 12th house placements. You could have a 12th house trine. You could have a water trine. You could have a 12th house stellium. You could have an 8th house stellium. You could even have a lot of squares. I'm seeing squares. Maybe you have a lot of squares in your charts. So these are for people who know their charts, okay? And that's okay. But that's something that's coming out really strongly here. And they feel like you are codependent, and they're secretly thinking that you are someone who is a smotherer, like you're going to smother this person, and that's why you don't have any relationships. And I feel like you got out of something really toxic and took time to heal yourself. And they're saying, thinking, I keep saying they're saying, maybe they are saying, but they're thinking that like you just smother a lot of people. Like maybe you smothered your last relationships and that's why it didn't work out for you. Like, not that it was toxic for you, that you're the problem. And that's what they're thinking here. Let's get some tarot on it. Let's see what else comes through here. I already feel what Source is trying to point out here. I already feel it, but let's get into it. Yeah, like you're living in an illusion. So, okay, I'm just gonna use this as an example. Like, you do not have to be on the twin flame journey, and that is okay. Please, this is not an invitation for you to go down that rabbit hole by any means, okay? But I'm gonna use it as an example, or if you would rather, the term soulmate. Okay, so this is you saying like, oh, I have this soulmate. I know who they are. Like, this is my person. This is who I'm supposed to be with. And I'm really excited about them. Like, we totally vibe on this level. Like, we're harmonizing, whatever it is. And I feel like maybe you mentioned them at one point in time. And this person is like, they're delusional. Like, they don't even realize that that's not how real life works. It's not about soulmates. It's not about that. But energy doesn't lie, right? Like, energy doesn't lie at all. And so this person doesn't know how to read energy, or these people don't know how to read energy. They're just not, and I really don't like this term, but for lack of a better one at this moment, they're not woke. I really don't like that term, but we're just going to go with it because that's what's coming through. Source, what do people secretly think of pile number 2 but won't say? What do people secretly think of pile number 2 but won't say? Yeah, they're constantly, all right, we have the spiers. This is the spying group. This is the group that spies on your social media. This is the group that spies on anything that you post. They're all over it. Like, oh. And the only reason they're spying is to see if you're with your person or not. And it could be like if you're dating someone, right? Maybe it's so new, like you're not posting them on social media yet, but they're like all over it. Okay, because they don't want to come to terms with the fact that you might actually get somebody who's matched with your energy. Oh, what do people secretly think of pile number 2 but won't say? Yep. Like, and it's interesting that it came out this way. They want it like this. with the King of Wands in the reverse, this is exactly what I was feeling earlier. Like, you're the problem, right? They secretly think that you're the one that self-sabotaged. So maybe before your relationship, before, like, people thought that was a good relationship. But I'm getting like, oh, I feel it in my gut. Like, this was not a good situation for you. I feel like it was very abusive, very toxic, very draining. Like, this person wasn't treating you with respect, or this person maybe cheated on you. Maybe you didn't tell people all these things. Like, I feel like you suffered through it in silence. Like, I feel like you were carrying it all on your shoulders. But it's like, it feels like they only saw the little tidbits, right? Just like everyone else online, they only post the positive. Are people gonna go and record a fight that they hadn't No, I shouldn't say that, because there are people who do that. But most people don't. Most people aren't going to record a fight that they had with their spouse and put that online, because most people want to appear a certain way. So that's exactly what it feels like. And I feel like maybe when you did post with your ex, or with whoever you were with before, like, you only posted like when you went on trips or good pictures, or, you know, talked about fun things. Like, I feel like you were just suffering. I really feel, Pile 2, like you were suffering in silence. Like, it just really feels, I feel it from my gut to my throat. Like, it's like no one actually understood the amount of trauma that you were experiencing with this person. And it's just like, oh, Pile 2, they self-sabotaged, you know, like, they created a mess, and they're the reason why they don't have a connection right now. Like, they're the ones that are at fault. Like, they let go of a good person. And I feel like no one actually knew what this person was like or how they treated you. And no one's gonna know, right? That's not for them to know. Who cares if they know or not? Like, that's your experience, and it's you to validate what you felt going through that. And it's yours to heal, right? And that's, and it's not that you have to suffer in that alone. Like, I will always suggest getting therapy, and always suggest finding a community to connect with who's gone through similar abuse or similar situations. Like, always suggesting connecting with people who get it. These people do not, like, because they saw whoever you were with is like the ultimate person, and that should say a lot about them. Right? But that's what this really feels like. And so now you're like talking about loving on this new person, or maybe you're writing love poems, or maybe you're writing little snippets of love, and they're over there like, oh, here they go again. Like, they're going to self-sabotage again. And maybe you're not even with anybody. Like, you're just, you know, trying to invite higher love into your life. And how do we do that? By acting as if, right? And so maybe you're trying to act as if, and it's not that you're sharing someone, or some of you could be with someone new. Like, it feels very fresh. It feels very new. And that's what they're saying. Like, oh, here they go again. Yeah. Oh, Lordy Lord. Okay, so I did get the family card when I was shuffling, getting ready for your reading beforehand, when I was getting the channeled message. And I got the family card. I got family energy, and now we have the family card coming out. Yeah, so this could be family who's saying this about you. Oh no. Oh no, this is family who believed somebody who was toxic over their own flesh and blood. That's what this is. Okay, family is creating a situation where people online are now believing what they're saying about you and this person, and they still, like, maybe you told them, you know, it was a really bad situation, and they still don't want to believe it, because this is the family, this particular family was like, I see little stars. Like, they were really enamored by this person. Starstruck, that's what's coming through. They were really starstruck by this person. Like, they just thought no one was more perfect for you than this person. But no matter how it seemed on the outside, that's not the truth of the situation. But this is what they're thinking. And I feel like they've told a lot of people. But also, it's not just family. I do feel like family's playing a huge part in this. But with the Page of Swords here in the reverse, like, this is this energy of, like, a lot of people saw what they wanted to see online. And in their minds, because there were huge gaps that had no information, they just put in whatever information made the most sense to them. And so they may have only seen the good side of this person. and not seeing anything else. And so in the gaps, they're like imagining that you must have been the problem here. Okay. Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow. We have the king and queen coming out together. That, okay. That's exactly what it is. It's like you were the one that was self-sabotaging. I feel like in this scenario, they're seeing you as the king of wands in the reverse, and they're seeing this person as the queen of wands in the upright. Oh, they're good looking, they're funny, they're talkative, they're attractive, they're magnetic, people really like them. And so they don't, and with the page of swords in the reverse, this is people who don't want to face the reality of the situation. Like there's nothing that you could ever say to this person, short of them seeing someone physically beating you up, which I would pray no one would ever want to see that, right? But I'm trying to share with you the extremity of this situation is like, short of them seeing this person really beat you to a pulp or hurt you in that way. And I'm going to make sure I put a trigger warning on this reading beforehand, so that way people who pick it know, like, they're not going to believe anything that you say, because this person doesn't trust what you say. And I feel like that is whoever the family member is. Okay, that's a family member. But then you have a lot of people online, so it wouldn't surprise me if you had mutual friends with your ex, like a lot of mutual friends, or it wouldn't surprise me if this person, your ex, was someone who went around and weaseled their way into everybody that you knew into their lives because they wanted to be seen a certain way. Okay, so that's what I feel is coming through here. But there's a lot of people here who see whoever it was that you were with before as like the golden ticket. And now you're talking about someone new and they're like, oh, well, they're never going to get that person back now that they're talking about this new person. And you might not even be with a new person, but maybe you're just, like I said, it feels like maybe you're just like trying to act as if I have this person by writing love poems or writing love stories, or, you know, like, and everybody around you or everybody in your energy right now is taking it totally out of context because they're not wanting to see the reality of the situation. They don't trust you. They don't believe you. That is not your problem, pile number 2. That is their problem right now. You have to focus on taking care of yourself, right? And I cannot stress this enough. And I feel like that's something I'm going to be saying this whole reading. But that's really what these are. You know, it's like you can come on here and find out what people are saying about you, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's your job to make sure you're taking care of yourself and focusing on you instead of everyone else, right? Focusing on your healing, focusing on your growth, focusing on what you can do to become the most aligned version of yourself. And I know that a lot of times these are for entertainment, it's fun, but it can also put us in a very down energy when we focus on these readings too much, you know, like what other people are saying about us. But it does feel like there's a group of people here that definitely don't want to see the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is I feel like the actual Queen of Wands is flipped, and I feel like the King of Wands is upright. You're still the King of Wands, moving forward, being secure in yourself. But the Queen of Wands in reverse is this energy of someone who's combative, has a problem with authority, has a problem with other people, disregards them, is very cruel, very ruthless to others. And I feel like that's what you dealt with this person, but everybody has the picture in their mind that like that's how you are. And I feel like you've had to stand up for yourself in certain situations and certain circumstances where maybe you standing up for yourself, that allowed them to paint you this way. But it was because you had to have a way to speak your truth. And it's like, if no one's listening to you, how are you supposed to have that? How are you supposed to bring that across? Sometimes you have to be very stern and forward. And a lot of people think that stern and forward people are toxic, and they're not. Like, just because you're standing in your truth and you're being forward about something doesn't make you a toxic person. Right? But because we're like, oh, we can't have people dislike us, we can't have people be rude, or we can't have people do this. You know what? Being forward is seen as rude, and if it's rude to be in my truth, then I'd rather be rude instead of being a people pleaser, because I'm sure you know, pile two, you've been down that road. People pleasing didn't get you anything but a lot of hurt and pain, and a lot of people who didn't stand by you. Exactly. We have house 2 that flipped over. Your self-worth, your value. You know your value. You know your self-worth. We also have physical security, possessions, material values. But self-worth is the one that's standing out here. And I feel like going through the situation helped you really honor and own what your value, what your self-worth is along your journey. Then we've also got house 3 coming out here. Early learning, childhood relations, the rational mind, and communication. Anytime the third house comes out, with the exception of a few circumstances, it does point to twin flame connection for me, okay? That's something that I've gone through with my guides, with source, with my angels and everybody. But it's also, it's confirming that for someone here, you really feel like you're in this twin flame connection, and that things are shifting for you, and that you have this higher connection with someone. And so it's like they're really sick and tired of you talking about it, but it's not for them. Like, it doesn't matter. If you talk about it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It matters what feels right for you, and that's the only thing that matters. But that's what it is. Oh, so they're thinking that you gave up on this good person so that you could go with somebody that you haven't even connected with yet, or that you haven't even had anything with yet. Okay? So look, we got house 12 on the bottom. Spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. You're absolutely healing right now. You're in this place of coming into a higher vibration for yourself, and there's a lot going on, and you're about to magnetize to you things that maybe you only dreamed of. And who cares what these people are saying? Wow, we've got addict coming out here with the light attribute is helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. And that's what I was saying. I feel like there's a lot of codependency that was going on in a prior relationship, and that was something maybe you were addicted to, was a codependent situation, and letting that go and recognizing that has been very difficult for you. But also seeing that there are other people in your life who believe that codependency is what true love looks like, and it's not. We have the shadow attributes, or compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. So there's definitely a lot of letting go, a lot of releasing things that didn't serve you, and a lot of, I feel like you had, it's so funny, I just heard my mom, she always used to do these things. It's like, she would always say, oh, it's time to have a come to Jesus meeting, right? Like, I grew up in a very Christian home. I'm not Christian anymore. I'm spiritual more than anything. And so it's not that I believe or I don't believe. It's not for me to discuss here. What I'm saying is, like, it's just so funny because she would always talk about that. Whenever one of the kids was acting out, or when she didn't feel like everyone was where they needed to be, my mother was a Cancer, very, very much in her shadow. She was very much controlling, and she had to make sure that everybody was exactly in the right place at the right time, because that made her feel safe, right? And I love her dearly. I will always love my mother. She's taught me so much, and I miss her so dearly, but it's so funny that that came through right now. And I feel like it's like, right now, there's this come to Jesus meeting where it's like, I feel like you had to have that for yourself. Like, I feel like you had to have a come to Jesus meeting with yourself. It's like, okay, look, this is not working for me, right? And I feel like this was a past relationship for you. It's like, I cannot do this anymore. And I feel like that was actually a really huge challenge. And like, I keep coming back to that energy that you had to shoulder it by yourself. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot of support for you, pile 2. I don't feel like there was someone like, hey, make sure you do what's right for you. It was always like people saying like, oh, but they're a good person. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you get rid of a good person? Right? And so it's like really tough. And then look what we had come out. We have 64 with wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. And I feel like this is also something that made you realize that you were really doing this journey by yourself. Like, you were really growing by yourself. You were really changing things by yourself. Like, there wasn't people there that were giving you a lot of support, and you got used to being alone. And so the fact that, and isn't it funny, I just now realized you chose the heart, and we're talking about love, and I just now made that connection. But it's so funny because it's like, I feel like now you're like ready to open up to love. And so you're starting to talk about it, but everyone's like, oh, it's fake. Oh, they're just going to be their own worst enemy again. Like, and you're like, no, like I see love in an entirely different way. Boom, we've got Hawk Spirit. Let Spirit be your guide. You're trusting Source on this. You're letting Source take the reins. You're letting Source have precedence over how you move forward, and you're trusting that process now, and that's not been easy for you along the way. And Source is just saying, like, you know, keep trusting me. I'm going to take you. No, this came out in pile number 1 too. I'm going to keep taking you that distance, right? And I feel like there's been a lot of things suddenly that have happened where you're like, okay, now I really trust that this is part of my path, that this is a part of my journey. So we have Judgment. You have the benefit of good fortune. If you use your wise judgment, you can do anything in this place. You can reach new heights. You should act on your potential when you see this pattern, since what you plant will grow. You're about to experience a spectacular ascent. And we had that with the 12th house too, right? Transcendence, right? No, Pluto's underneath that. There's a huge transformation here from a situation that was in opposition, a very imbalanced situation, a point of tension and a power struggle. Yeah, so you're letting go of something that was very difficult. And I feel like energetically, this is something that you've had to face time and time again. Like, like maybe the relationship ended years ago, but still trying to overcome it. That's not easy. To heal something that difficult, that hard, it's not easy, but you're doing it. And I feel like because you're doing it, you're making space in your heart, and you're going to be calling in a higher vibrational love. On the bottom, we have pause. You're being asked to pause before making a quick decision and moving forward. Allow yourself to step back, look at all the possible outcomes, and make sure you're headed in the right direction before moving forward. Right? So pausing to heal. I really feel like that's the energy here for you, pile number 2. Let's get some of the answer oracle out. What else would you like to tell pile number 2, Source? What else would you like to tell pile number 2? Wow, this card flew over to the angel deck. I don't know if, let me see if I can pick up the angel deck. This is how it landed on the angel deck. Look at this. That's how it landed on the angel deck. It was like this. So I don't even know what this card is. I don't remember. I think it's Harmony. But yeah, we have Harmony. 121. Embrace harmony in your life. Seek balance between your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So this is Source saying, like, you've been doing this. But we have Book, Wisdom, Experience, Immortality, and Authority. For it to land the way it did on the angel deck, like, that's exactly what's going on. Like, you're gaining wisdom. Even if people don't understand that, respect that, or even see that, that's not... It doesn't matter. Like, you're gaining it for yourself, and there are going to be people who want to connect with you because of that. We've got Memories card. This kind of like flipped out of the deck right now. It says old acquaintances, old debts, recollections, and prejudices. Yeah, that's why. There's a lot of prejudice here. Maybe because, like, you have a lot of good things in your life. You could be really good looking. You could have a lot of good luck. You could have a lot of things go your way. And so people are just like, why did you let a good thing go? Like, why do I hear that? I hear that song from All Dogs Go to Heaven. Can't keep a good dog down. No, 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 no. Can't keep a good dog down. That's what I hear right now. Like, it's so funny. Anyways, I'm not sure what that means or what that has to do with the reading, but it was coming through so strong. But I feel like there's a lot of prejudice right now. Like, a lot of people are jealous of you because of the way you look or the way you live your life or the things that you have at your beck and call. But the reason you have all these things, it could have to do with your chart placements, absolutely. But I also feel like it's because you had a huge debt that you paid that wasn't really yours to pay. And yet you still paid it. And, you know, you could call it karma, but I feel like it's more than that. I feel like you took like a huge chunk of generational curses from your family and maybe from this other person's family and healed it all. And it wasn't yours to heal theirs. It was yours to heal yours. But because of how much time you spent with this person and the amount of difficulties that were going on in the relationship, you naturally had to recover from a lot of that forced trauma onto you, right? Like a lot of that forced patterning onto you. Look, we've got reject. Yeah, negation, never, forbid, and taboo. That's what they feel like. Like they're in this place of believing that you rejected something that was good. Some people. They don't want to ask what happened. They'd rather fill in the story on their own. And then they'll believe, you know, a lot of people, they'll believe whatever they tell themselves. Even if it's not true. It could be the furthest thing from the truth, but they'll still believe it. And then you could call it pride. You could call it laziness. Whatever it is you want to call it. They don't want to ask. People are nosy until they really have a need to be nosy. And then they don't want to because it's easier to believe whatever their mind's going to tell them. So we got changes on the bottom of the deck. I'm going through changes. Oh, who sings that? I know that there's a version of that song with Ozzy Osbourne and his daughter. You should check that out. If you know the original song, would you totally put that down below to help out other pile twos? That would mean so much. It says, embrace change and take courageous steps to unlock opportunities for personal growth and spiritual transformation. Yes, you're growing spiritually. All right, rescuer. Oh, why did I just hear that? What is that? Excuse the language here, but like the save-a-ho, like that's what I was hearing. And I don't know what it is for women, for women and guys. Like, I don't know what that is, but I feel like that's maybe what happened here. Like, you felt like you could save this person and it just totally went awry. It says the light attributes are provide strength and support to others in crisis. Act out of love with no expectation of reward. And the shadows assumes that the rescue will reciprocate and keeps the rescued one needy. Yeah. So you could have been fighting that. That might have been a generational curse for you, and that created a lot of situations for you. There's also this energy, like it's like maybe you grew up in a family that only did things and then so that they could throw that back in your face later. I don't know why that's coming through, but that's what Source just showed me. Like you have family that like, oh, I'm only going to help you so that later I can throw it back in your face and feel like I'm the bigger person. Wow, we have the Seek card. Look at this. The light is shining on you. Guidance, help, and miracle. Yeah, Source is the one that's helping you. Your guides, your ancestors, your angels, whoever it is you believe in, they're definitely walking you through this process, walking you through to your higher self. And then we've got trust with 232. Trust in yourself and the universe. Have faith in the divine plan and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Yeah, so it's funny because it's like I was saying, like this is you taking on something that wasn't even yours to take on. But it's almost like Source helped, like you planned this as a goal before you came here. Like everything is already pre-planned. Like it's not that we don't have free will. We totally have free will, but in the process of our free will, we'll also take detours. And I feel like this was one of those detours. It's like Source is like, your soul is ready to handle this. It's not anything that's malicious. It's not mean. But it was like you taking a piece of someone else's history and healing it for the better so that their family could let that go for good. And it's almost like you did do rescuing without realizing it. And I feel like that's something that guided you towards that. And if it wasn't this person, it would have been another thing. You would have done this for another group or for another family. And it would have just been a part of this process. So there's like, you made a promise to Source before you were incarnated that like, I'm going to help clear out this generational curse from a long line of family. And it's like you didn't know exactly what it was, but Source like brought you to the situation that it needed to be at that moment. And even though it was a difficult situation, like sometimes life stings, it was a very harrowing situation. Like that was something that really mattered for you and for your journey. And so it's almost like a slingshot action. Like you're getting pulled back, but with the purpose that when let fly, you fly, you soar to new heights. Like that's what this really feels like. So there's definitely this energy of where people aren't seeing that part of it. And obviously they wouldn't, right? Like that's for you and you alone. And I feel like that was what the main reason why Source wanted me to do this message today, was for that message for you, pile 2. Let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. Oh, it's Limu Emu and Doug. I love Limu Emu. He's like one of my favorites, my hero. But we have Emu. This is a good time to go on a new adventure. Yes, let go. Let yourself experience something new and see what that brings to you. Okay, Limu. Where are you at in my book? Emu. It says your sense of adventure is calling you. Can you hear it? Listen to your heart of hearts. And you pick the heart. Oh my gosh, I love the synchronicities already. The still small voice that whispers to you of the holy exotic places and of the pleasure in discovering the unfamiliar and novel, feeling confident and trusting in your instincts and intuition to guide you on your journey. Let this be a wandering pilgrimage, one where you can be appreciative of whatever circumstances you encounter and make the best of them. Have some idea where and what you'll be doing, but don't be attached to the plan. Instead, be willing to adjust your itinerary as you are so guided. Dismiss the voice that says, yeah, this sounds good, but I can't do that because. This kind of thinking not only limits you by always keeping you in the illusion of comfort and safety, but also leads you to avoiding the real life drama that comes from stretching your comfort zone. You need not do so in a way that puts you in any real danger, as there are many options where risk is minimal, yet the thrill and excitement of exploration is still there. So heed the calling and first believe that it's possible for you to act on it. And don't wait too long. Life is too short. And this also has to do with completion, freedom, innocence, action, attentiveness, roaming, wanderlust, adventure, pilgrimage, restlessness, protectiveness, exploration, lightheartedness, and playfulness. And the 5th house also connects with playfulness. So this is you healing a huge portion of your inner child as well. Okay, this was a really powerful message coming through. And if you felt like it was your message, leave the little wolf emoji down below and say, I trust that my soul is taking me on the adventure of a lifetime, knowing that I'm gonna end up always right where I need to be at exactly the right time. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join on the channel as a member. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming through to give us this incredible message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of amethyst, if you were drawn to this dice with Sagittarius on it, this has nothing to do with the zodiac signs in particular, but if you felt drawn to it because you are Sagittarius, that's perfectly okay. Or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on what do people secretly think of you but won't say. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out more about this. I do quickly want to mention though that this was a channeled reading from source, so there's definitely a message that's coming through in each pile specifically for the person that's picked the pile. I know that that will be the same here for you. So with that being said, just keep in mind that I do my readings a lot differently than most do. So we're going to find out what comes true for you and what it is that Source would like to say, okay? So Source, what do people secretly think of pile number 3 but won't say? What would you like them to know? What do people secretly think of pile number 3 but won't say, Source? Interesting. Okay, so we've got the 6th house. Sagittarius energy came back out and Jupiter. I'm actually loving on this. I'm so glad it's you, pile number 3. First 2 were rough, but I do feel like here a lot of people that they're secretly thinking how successful you are and how consistent you are with your daily routines. Maybe this could be learning, this could be your spiritual growth, this could be your health, everything all combined, that you are constantly doing what you can to better yourself and to make sure that you're always growing, right? Like always aligning, always working on yourself. So I do feel like there's a lot of people here. This feels like a huge group of people. So this could be people you work with, or people who, maybe you go to the gym with, or people that you're working on a project with. But they're secretly thinking like, wow, pile 3, you are always learning new things. Like you're coming from a place of experience. You're coming from a place of true growth. Like you're not just coming from a place of, oh, I know a little bit about this, so I'm going to act like I actually know a lot. Like, no, you've learned a lot. Like, you've taken the time to study things. You've taken the time to expand your knowledge. You've taken the time to gain the wisdom. And so they're secretly saying this, like, thinking this. They're secretly saying this to themselves, like, wow, I wish I could be like pile number 3. Right? But this feels very positive. This feels very enlightening. And they are secretly thinking about how adventurous you are and how brave you are and how you're always willing to try something new. How grateful you are. You're incredibly generous. They're secretly thinking about how much you give to others without expecting anything in return. That you're incredibly optimistic and ambitious and lucky. Very, very lucky. That you're always seeking the truth. Like you're always looking for the higher version of truth. Like what is that? And you never settle for anything. Like even if you find something that's new truth to you today, like you're still always looking like, is this the only truth that there is, or is there more to that? Like you're always expanding on that. And so what you believe today might alter slightly tomorrow because you found something else that helps mold your overall perspective of the world around you. And it feels like there's just a lot of things that are coming together for you currently right now. And so people are secretly thinking how lucky you are to have things falling into place for you, and how really it feels like you're very wise. Like people are seeking your guidance. People are seeking your wisdom. People are wanting to know what it is that you have to say. And I feel like there's also like a sense of resolution here too. Like conflict resolution is a thing that's coming through. Like there's a lot of conflict resolution that's coming through, and you're capable of resolving things without creating even more conflict, without creating even more drama. Like you're very mild-mannered, but with a purpose. And you can be really forward and crude if you need to be, but most of the time you see every opportunity as an opportunity to come from a place of wisdom instead of a place from ego, right? Like I have to be right, there's a right and a wrong. Like you don't see it that way, and you're willing to hear what others have to say, but you're also willing to share your knowledge based on what others are saying, or based on what others are asking you, or where they're coming from. Like you're not against hearing people's sides out. And so people are secretly thinking like, wow, you're so knowledgeable and you're able to bring something to back that up, right? So like say you went to school for electricity, and like you aren't someone who just, dabbled in it and figured it out. Like you actually have a degree in it, and then you also went on further to learn even more about it. And this is just an example. But it's like now you know all the jargon that goes with it and everything like that. And so you're explaining that to people, but you're also explaining it in a way that people can absorb and understand. It's not so like jargon sometimes, especially, school jargon, like medical terms or legal terms or like any like specific technical job terms are very difficult sometimes to understand if you're not in that area of a profession. But it feels like you're able to not dumb it down, but give it to people in a layman's term kind of way where they're like, oh, I understand that. Like, I get that. And it's not that you're coming at a place from ignorance or anything like that. You're just really trying to bring it in a way where everybody benefits and not just people who are always using large words. Like, I don't know. I know there's a way to say this, but it's like coming across where it's like you want people who aren't as schooled to understand it as people who've been in school for their entire lives. Like, you want everybody to be able to grasp onto whatever it is that you're sharing. Maybe that's tips on health tips or coaching on how to better your life or whatever it is, and especially with the sixth house can be pointing towards work, right? And coworkers. It could be your job. Maybe there's certain terms at your job that are really hard to grasp onto. You could be in law, especially with Sag and Jupiter here. You could be in the legal department, and a lot of people, they just always bring up the legal terms, and it's like, yeah, the legal terms are definitely important, but you're helping others understand it in a way where it's like they actually remember what the legal term is because of the way you're explaining it. Do you see what I'm saying? Or maybe it's health here or something like that. It's a lot of positive energy here for you, Pile 3. I'm so glad. So glad this is coming through. Okay, so for pile number 3, Source, what do people secretly think of pile number 3 but won't say? Yeah, maybe you travel a lot too, and I feel like people are saying like, wow, how lucky is it that pile number 3 gets to travel? But I also feel like they're saying that adds to your experience and to your wisdom because you're constantly experiencing different cultures or different groups of people or putting yourself out there in different circumstances and situations where you're able to gain even more understanding of why people are the way they are, what people are doing every day, and why certain things are the way that they are. And so you're not seeing everything as in yes or no, right or wrong, black or white. You're seeing everything in Technicolor and the grayscale and everything in between. Yeah. All right, they're telling me to put all the cards out before I get into it. Okay, so Source, what are people secretly thinking in pile number 3 but won't say? Okay, I understand now. What are people secretly thinking of pile number 3 but won't say? Yeah, okay. So with this combination, before we look at the bottom of the deck, with this combination, this goes back to what I was saying, like conflict resolution. There's people here who don't want to see things in a different way, right? Like, I keep getting that energy like Matilda, the movie Matilda, where her dad is telling her, like, I'm big and you're small, I'm right and you're wrong. Like, there's a lot of people I feel like come at you from this type of energy where it's like, especially if you're in law, like, there might be more experienced lawyers or even paralegals or something that like think that they know everything. And they try to prove you wrong. And it's like you come back with this overcoming the negativity with the 5 of Swords here. You're not ever negative about it. You're not ever like rude about it. You're like, oh, I'm glad you brought that up, but here's what I've found. And you bring like the research with it too. You're like, look, check this out because this backs what I'm trying to say, or this backs what's coming through for me. And that's what people are watching. They're like watching you do this. They're like, whoa, there goes pile 3 with their wisdom again, bringing it out and overcoming that negative person or overcoming that know-it-all, and I feel like you really approach life from this place of, and you've heard me say it before, but only a fool thinks they know everything. And so I feel like you are always approaching life from a beginner's mindset or a student's mindset where it's like, if you have something to share with me that's going to benefit my growth in knowledge, I'm so willing to listen to that. And so that's why you're able to listen to so many different people, or you're able to converse with so many different people, because you're not seeing them for right or wrong. You're seeing them for like, what does this person have to offer, if anything? And, you know, if you have to offer something in return, like you're going to give them something that they can ponder on for a while. You know, it's like, oh, check out this law that backs up this thought, that backs up what we were talking about and why I see it that way. And people oftentimes like I feel like I heard one and done. It came in so loud. They're one and done with you. Like they don't try it again. Because this is not a one-time thing for you. Like you've had to do this for a lot of different situations in your life, and you become like a pro at being conflict resolution. So and it's like people coming in and trying to cause conflict, but you resolve it right away. You find like some sense of balance or harmony through your energy and through yourself and through the way that you think. A lot of mind games here with the page of swords in the reverse here and the 5 of swords together. This feels like a lot of people coming in and trying to play mind games. And the people here that are secretly thinking about how it is that you're handling things, they see you handling things like a leader. They see you handling things from a place of assuredness, right? Like you're very sure of yourself. You're sure of how you believe things. You're sure of how you think. You're also sure of the information that you've obtained. And I also feel like too, if you're wrong, like you're willing to say, I'm sorry I messed up, or I was wrong. And so you take accountability for your mistakes, and people are watching that. And I feel like this is definitely like a workplace, or has something to do with what you put work into. It could be a community too, but really with the 6th house here, this feels like something you're doing at work, where people are watching you deal with maybe people who feel like they know more than you, or people who feel like they've done more than you, or more experienced than you. But then again, no one asks you what your story is, so no one actually knows the amount of work and effort and energy that you put in. And so they're seeing you and handle these situations with a sense of grace and with a sense of compassion even, and kindness. Like you're not here to cut people down, but it's okay for you to educate people because you have this beginner's mindset, or you have this student's mindset. So for you, it's like knowledge is power, but you're also in a position where it's not just about obtaining knowledge, it's about applying my knowledge to everyday life. And so that's what makes it so powerful for you, because knowledge is power, but it's only powerful if we apply it. And I feel like you live by that. Like you live by applying the knowledge that you obtain. And so like the things that you're researching, or the information that you're gathering, it has to do with day-to-day things, but you like go above and beyond. Like you're not just scratching surface level here, you're really getting in deep. And there's people here who are seeing that you're able to handle people who are coming at you from a very unbalanced state and wanting to cause drama and conflict. And you look, I mean, really, if you look at the suit, right, it starts at the ace and it ends with the king. Right, you think about a deck of cards, like, of course the ace is a good card to have, right? Like new beginnings and that energy and everything like that. But what's a 5 compared to, say, a jack, right? And I kind of lump the page and the knight together as a jack, if you will, in the suit of cards. But so like, what's a pair of 5s compared to a pair of jacks, right? So if you think about that, that's why these people, they think that they're better off than you, or they're better handled, they're better equipped to do this than you. Like they think they're better than you, and you never ever are in a place where you're like, no, like I'm better than you. Like you're just like, oh, okay, like I see your point, but this is what I've learned, right? So, oh, my battery's dying. I'm hoping I have enough to get through this. Yeah, we've got the 7 of swords on the bottom of the deck. Like, these are people who are getting involved in lost causes time and time again. Like, they're trying to cause a lot of situations, and it's very mind game. A lot of Aquarius energy here on the table. So this could be an Aquarius that you've dealt with, or you could have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, or it's just you're a trendsetter in and of yourself, and that's why Aquarius energy is coming out. So a lot of energy here, playing with the mind. And a lot of people watching you handle it with ease. Yeah. People feeling like you're not spiritually inclined. Here's the thing, like, I feel like you're very much represented by this Five of Swords energy here, and it's like you've come into a place where you're very secure. We were saying that, very, very sure of yourself. And these people who are coming at you are very, they think that they're spiritually inclined, but they're not. They've actually reached some sense of spiritual defeat where it's like, maybe life hasn't been good to them, or maybe things have fallen apart for them, or maybe things that just have gone awry too many times for them, and they just don't believe that there's any possible good out of life that can come from the, being in the state that they've been in. And it's been really, really challenging for them to overcome this. And so that's why they're like, I just heard barking up the wrong tree when they come to you, because you're always working on that alignment with yourself, whether it's learning, whether it's growing. I just feel like you're a sponge. Like, I feel like you take in everything, and you also know how to sift through it too. Like, oh, this is good for my journey, or oh, this is not so good. Like, we'll just go ahead and put that over here. Okay, this needs to go in the wheelhouse, and you're always using what's good for you and putting it to good use. And, it's not like, I just heard it, like, you're not blowing hot air at all. Like, that's not any, you aren't coming into it from a position where you want to just say something to be right. Like, that's really the energy that I'm getting. And there are people who are secretly seeing that. Like, I feel like these are people who are constantly watching you overcome a lot of hardships, a lot of people who want to bring you down, a lot of people who want to hurt you. And that's what I'm saying. Like, these are people who are thinking this, but they're seeing you act as a leader. And so you're constantly gaining respect, and you're constantly gaining, like, admirers because of it, because they're seeing people playing emotional, manipulative mind games on you to try to, like, bait you. And you don't. You don't fall for the bait, right? Like, you've already overcome a lot of that, and you've already gotten through a lot of that, and you just don't. We're like, we don't go there. Like, we just don't go there. It's like, no, if it's an argument you want, it's not an argument you're gonna have, which is kind of funny, like, if you're in law, right? Because, like, it's what you do for a living. But I also feel like you do it from a sense of, like, I'm not arguing with people, I'm just presenting the evidence, and you do it in a very calm, cool, mature way. And so people are more inclined to listen to what you have to say, because you're not saying, like, no, this is me, or I'm right. Like, you're like, no, like, this is what I found. You make of it what you will. And it doesn't have to be law. But that's the energy that you have. And so this is what people are secretly thinking. It's people who are watching you. People are seeing you on a daily basis, dealing with someone or something that's difficult, which would make sense too if you're in law. Like, you might have difficult cases, you might have difficult defendants, or whatever. You might have difficult people that you're dealing with on a daily basis, depending on the type of lawyer you might be, if you are a lawyer. And if not, it could just be you have a very difficult job and you're dealing with managers or people who feel like they're more experienced than you, trying to knock you down a peg or whatever it is. And they don't even know. Like, they don't even understand. So let's get some oracles out, because I don't want to run out of time. Okay, we're doing okay right now. So what else do you want pile number 3 to know? And if you watched all 3 piles, leave a purple heart down below. It's part of my Purple Heart Club. And just say I made it. I know what that means. And I just truly appreciate anybody that spends any time with me. It really does mean a whole lot to me. Oh, yes, we got Jupiter from the astrology deck. Grow and expand. So there are people who are secretly watching you constantly grow. So you never stay put. Like, you're never just stagnant. You're always evolving, right? A lot of that Aquarius energy here. We also have Cancer energy too. So you could have a Cancer sun, moon, rising, or Venus. Look, we've got Advocate. that flipped over. It inspires you to put compassion into action. That's exactly the type of energy that you're in all the time. And that's what people are secretly thinking about you, but they won't say, right? I feel like a lot of people are just inspired in watching you. And that's why they don't say anything, because they don't want you to change. They just want to watch you change you. We have the shadow here with embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. And I feel like that's the type of people that you're dealing with constantly. And so you're this advocate for people who don't have a voice, or people who maybe need a voice, and no one will give that to them, because everyone is, you know, saying it has to be a certain way or whatever. We have child eternal with determined to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, and ability to see things with fresh eyes. Yes. And then we have the shadow attributes, the inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. Yeah, so you're bringing like a fresh perspective to whatever it is that you're doing. And so people are that's what they secretly think, like, wow, you're changing things just by bringing this fresh perspective, and you're helping others see things from a different place. I am so in love with you right now, Source. Thank you so much. We have turned knowledge into wisdom, and we were talking about knowledge is power for you, pile 3. And that's exactly what you've done, is you've gained so much knowledge that it's become wisdom for you at this point. Like, you share that wisdom, and you're always like, this is what I know, like, this is what I have, like, here you go. And you offer it to people on a silver platter, and some people eat, and others just turn their nose up at it, but you don't care. Like, even the people who turn their nose up at it, like, you're not offended by that in any one way, shape, or form. Okay, so we've got to hurry. Nothing is wasted. Exactly. I'm not hurt by it in any one way, shape, or form with vulture spirit here. All right, so let me see. What else, Source, would you like pile number 3 to know? Whoa, okay. Understanding. And on the bottom, yeah, don't freak out. It says pay close attention to the people in your life, surroundings, and your physical health. Don't freak out. It's just a warning to be careful and awake to avoid any further issues. Communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. Yeah, so definitely you've had to learn how to protect yourself, I feel. And that's been really important. But you're this understanding person as well. Understanding is the key to getting inside another person's head. Everyone has his or her own story and situation. Trying to look at things from the other person's point of view can reduce conflict and enhance relationships. Oh my gosh, yeah, you're just this very understanding person. And that's what people are secretly thinking about you. These are people who are watching you constantly. Okay, my apology. My battery was about to die and I needed to charge it so that I could finish recording this. I was hoping to finish before we got to the end, but wouldn't have it, so... Anyways, we are back and I left everything, but I believe we were talking about how understanding you are and how you're not trying to cause trouble with anybody. Like, you're really just trying to see things from a place of, like, I understand where you're coming from, but I also expect people to know that I'm not gonna roll over and just believe what anybody says just because they're saying it. Like, and I also deserve to be understood as well. And if someone's not gonna understand me, then so be it. And so people are secretly thinking, like, wow, you have a solid base for the way that you're showing up. So, Source, what else would you like pile number 3 to know? Where people secretly think of pile number 3 but won't say. Betrayal. Yeah, you've been through a lot. Breakup, divorce, and infidelity. Like, it's like they're secretly thinking that it's because of these betrayals that you have created such a solid boundary and a solid, a stable learning path for yourself. It comes from a deep betrayal. Like, maybe people convinced you that you didn't know what you were talking about, or maybe people, like, backed you into a corner and, like, I was hearing that, like, wrapped you around your own words, right? Like, made you feel like you were stupid or ignorant at one point, and you decided never to feel that way again. And so you decided to just start learning what you could, and you took accountability for where you were. And it comes from a place of, I had to do this for my own well-being. What else would you like them to know? Pile number 3, loneliness. Wow. Emptiness, depression, wandering in a gap period. So people are secretly thinking that maybe you are lonely because you've been betrayed, but that also gives you a lot of time to step in and advocate for others. That gives you a lot of time to have this ability to search and learn new things as well. But they don't see it as necessarily like a bad thing. Dating, connections, romance, and love, okay? And others could secretly think that you are dating people and that you're, trying to connect with new people as well. So let's see. I did not do this for pile number 2, but I'm going to go ahead and get some of the Pantha Oracle for you, pile number 3. Source, what else would you like to tell pile number 3? Okay. On the bottom, yeah, treasure. Yeah, you're very abundant. You're wealthy, right? Wealth of abundance, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of just you have a lot of abundance to you. You're very valuable and enrichment. You bring a lot of enrichment to their lives. They're secretly thinking these things. They're not telling you. And I feel like I said this earlier, they don't want to tell you because they want to watch you grow. Like they want to watch you change yourself because they don't want to be, play a part in that. They just want to see how much you continue to grow. All right. Thank you. And on the bottom, we've got transition, 3, 4, 5. You're in a period of transition and change. Embrace new beginnings and trust in the process of transformation unfolding in your life. So what I was saying earlier, like you're always changing, you're always transforming. There's a lot of people around you who are secretly thinking that same thing. Like, wow, pile number 3, you're always changing, but for the better. The house 6 came back out again, establishing a foundation, health and daily life and practical details. Yeah, so this has to do with your day-to-day routine, what you do, constantly show up for. You're always doing something. Like it's like you're not just doing something for the sake of doing something. You're doing something because it means something to you, but you also don't just like, oh yeah, I work out every day, but you don't. You know how some people are like that? Like, oh yeah, I work out every day, but they don't. Like you do things and you stick by them. And if you say you're doing something, like you're doing it. And that's what a lot of people are secretly thinking, like you're very much a role model for them. And that you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing with house 10. Structure, discipline, life mission, accomplishment, and career. Yeah, so there's a lot of people around you who are secretly thinking like you're exactly where you need to be at. Like this, you were designed for it. There's no other person who could do it the way that you do it because of your experience and what you've been through. You bring a lot to the table. Patience. You're being asked to practice patience right now. It's not easy to do this, but you're strong, and there's a reason why things aren't aligning in the way you want them to in this moment. Have patience. It will eventually work out. I feel like you're an incredibly patient person. Like I was saying earlier, like you're willing to listen to anybody. You're willing to hear anybody's side and story and how they experience things, and that makes you very patient. But it could also mean that you've had to learn patience because of this being betrayed or being in situations of loneliness. Like, maybe you're not with your people or your person, but it's like you've learned that everything happens in time, in good time, and for a reason. I love this confirmation. Transformation, reinvent, and new beginnings. You're growing, constantly evolving. So again, that confirmation that they want to watch you evolve because it's something that they love to see. But they don't want to say anything because they don't want to Not that them saying something would ever change the way you're going about it, but they don't want to influence that in any one way, shape, or form. They just want to see how you show up, because you continually show up like the leader that you are and leave people completely speechless. Authenticity, yeah, exactly. 787, be yourself, pursue your passions, and show your authentic self. Don't pay attention to what others are thinking of you. Isn't this pretty profound to come out on this reading? Right, so a lot of people are secretly thinking about how authentic you are. Like, you don't back down on what it is that you believe. But you also make sure that you have proof, like your experience, your wisdom, your knowledge, what you've gained, what you've learned. Like, you're not just coming empty-handed, like my way is the right way. Like, you're not even trying to be that way. You're just like, I really feel like you're like, this is what I've learned. Did I say at one point, like, you had everything on a silver platter, and whoever eats, you're like, oh, that's awesome, you ate it. And whoever doesn't eat, you're like, oh, that's awesome, they didn't eat it. Like, it's the same no matter what for you. Memory, remembrance, commemoration, and reunion. So you remember a lot of things. It wouldn't surprise me if you have like a photographic memory or an eidetic memory, or you have a really good memory, and that's come from the background that you have. Stop, break, pause, and stagnation. This goes with the patience card. A lot of people are thinking like you had to take a break from something, like you had to stop something so that you could move forward again. And that's also why you're seen as someone who's incredibly patient, because most people would have let that be the end of them, and it wasn't the end for you. Right, ceremony, mystery, magic. Others are seeing just how connected you are, and they're secretly thinking about how you are a channel for source, or how you're a channel for the divine, like how you bring through messages. You may even be practicing magic or manifestation, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it's like they're watching you create something magical in your life as well. And they're secretly thinking like, wow, things really do work out for pile number 3. Schedule, management, plan, and organized. That you're very organized. They're secretly thinking that you're very organized. They won't say that to you. I feel like a lot of the people who are thinking these things, like, it's actually really positive. It is really positive. But I feel like they just don't want to say anything because they don't want to interrupt your flow, but they also don't want to influence you in any one way, shape, or form. Not that they would, but I mean, that's just kind of the general basis from it. It's like, I don't want to influence pile number 3 in any one way, shape, or form. So let's take a look at your animal spirit guide card. We're going to read this from the book. Yes, we've got tiger. You're being called upon to provide leadership, so trust that you're capable of doing so. This is such a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, synchronicity. I love this for you, pile number 3. So a lot of people are secretly thinking of how good of a leader you are. They trust you. They believe you. They would follow you to the ends of the world. Like, these are people who've watched you overcome so much, and they're continually watching you overcome. It says, being an effective and compassionate leader requires that you know the art of balancing yin and yang, discerning when to advance and when to yield, and pay attention to the subtleties and the flow of the group process, while simultaneously staying attuned to your own intuitive voice. Whether your role as leader applies to your family, friends, employees, or a nation, you must listen to those around you and respond to their needs with strength and compassion. And when you deem it necessary, you need to follow your own sensibilities, even though others may disagree with you, to the best of your ability. Make your decisions based on what you determine to be for the greatest good, rather than catering to self-serving needs. Exactly. Fear and doubt may arise at times, but don't let them deter you from your purpose. The best leaders aren't perfect, but they're willing to take calculated risks based on their own convictions and passions, desires to do the right thing. On occasion, you may stumble or even fall, but don't let that impede the acceptance of the leadership you're being called to provide. Others are looking to you for guidance. Don't let it go to your head, but do let it go to your heart. Oh my gosh, I love this synchronicity so much. I love that for you, pile number 3. That's so profound. Just absolutely incredible. I loved this reading. I'm so glad you were pile number 3. So glad. And even if you were the other piles, I'm so glad you're you. It's just like, I'm so glad to end on pile 3 because this was such a positive reading and such a good note. So with that, if you felt like this was your reading, leave a little tiger emoji down below and say, stand in a position of being a compassionate, knowledgeable, and wise leader, knowing that I am in the trenches with those whom I lead, and we're doing it together as a group. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member of the channel. And with that, I do want to take a quick second and thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this powerful message. And until next time, stay human, pile number 3. Bye.